Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Today marks the 30th anniversary where the Indian Army brutally invaded the Darbar Sahib in Amritsar, India, the most sacred place of the Sikhs. Now today, I want to give tribute to those who were martyred at that place, especially Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale Ji. And I was blessed by Waheguru to meet Sant Jarnail Singh Ji in 1982. He really impressed me as being a very devout Sikh. Even though our meetings were short, I observed in him the real spirit of the Khalsa Panth. Now you can see some pictures here. This is a poster from an event that's going to happen this weekend on Sunday, where people are gathered to commemorate and to give tribute to those who martyred there in 1984. That march will take place on June 8th, Sunday, in San Francisco. The event will be published in the description of this video as well. Now I also want to point out here how Sant Jarnail Singh Ji was a great promoter of defense, and especially using firearms. Now, you can see here in this picture, he's not only wearing the Sikh kirpan, but he is also wearing a handgun. And he always, when I met him, and all the pictures you'll see with him, he's wearing his Sikh kirpan, which represents defense, the ability of Sikhs to defend themselves, along with a modern-day handgun. Now, I think this is especially significant because what this tells me is that Sant Jarnail Singh Ji wanted Sikhs to learn about and train with weapons of all kinds. Now, the most modern weapons are handguns and rifles that can be used for self-defense and to defend those that can't defend themselves. Many people say that defense with firearms is not necessary. Well, I say that it is more applicable today than at any time in the past. Now, just imagine that there is civil unrest in the United States or other Western countries, and you will not have enough law enforcement and other personnel to help defend those that can't defend themselves if there's this kind of situation. So that's why it's necessary for Sikhs, and every law-abiding citizen for that matter, to train with firearms and to keep firearms so that we can protect ourselves against those that would attack us. Now, for those that were killed and murdered in that 1984 aftermath of the attack on the Darbar Sahib, there were the Sikhs who were killed and murdered in Delhi especially. If they had had firearms and been able to protect themselves, I don't think we would have had the massacre that we had. But the Indian government actually took the firearms away from the Sikhs. But those Sikhs who were able to keep their firearms, they were not attacked. And this shows how if you have a presence and show your firearms that you are willing to defend yourselves, and people know that you're trained with firearms, then these attacks will not happen on you. I can pretty much guarantee that. And if they do, the people will definitely regret that they were attacking you. We've had many instances here in the United States where Sikhs have been attacked as individuals, and also we had that really horrendous attack on Sikhs in Wisconsin about 2 years ago, where 6 Sikhs were killed and murdered by one of these white supremacist fascists who actually went there to kill these innocent Sikhs. So my position, and I think that the position of Sant Jarnail Singh Ji would be that Sikhs should train with firearms. And so I want to encourage the Sikh Sangat and those who would be watching this video to get this concealed weapons license. It's called a CCW license. Wherever it's legal in the United States, get that license. It's great training. You can go to the county sheriff and apply for this concealed weapons license. And then you'll be in the spirit of the KHALSA Panth and the way that Sant Jarnail Singh Ji would want us to have acted. Let's not forget 1984, just like this poster said. Let's not forget those who were martyred. Let's stand up for our rights. Let's stand up for righteousness and show people that we are willing to defend ourselves, that we are willing to stand strong in our religious beliefs. And everybody should know that we are willing to defend ourselves and use modern weapons in order to do that, like firearms, handguns. I personally carry a handgun wherever it's legal. I have a concealed weapons license. And again, Sant Jarnail Singh Ji definitely illustrated that. I think his wearing the kirpan along with the handgun really shows how he definitely would have promoted the idea that Sikhs, all Sikhs, should train with weapons of all kinds. Our 10th Sikh Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, told all of his Sikhs, don't come before me without weapons. And I think that we should abide by that command of our Guruji and train with weapons and shastars, as they're called. So I'm going to let you listen to a little video here that I did a few months ago, specifically on the training with weapons.
Today I want to talk a little bit about self-defense with handguns and other weapons as a result of all of these terrible shootings that have been happening in the United States. Now, especially, it's important to realize and to understand that we need to take measures to defend ourselves and our families with handguns in the wake of these horrible shootings that happened at the elementary school there in Connecticut. Now, it's a fact, unfortunately, that our society has these deranged people in it that have access to guns. And before I talk about how we can actually take specific measures to protect ourselves, I want to talk just a little bit about why this may be happening in our society. I listened to some of the news reports and to some of the other accounts of the shooting. And it seems that this young man who did the shootings was part of a broken home, and I suspect there was no worship of God or other spiritual things that were happening in his family. I have to research that some more. But my observation here in our American society is that all of these things will not change until we come back to worshiping God and to come back to the proper moral values that we should have in our families and in our society. So all of these things like global warming and other problems that we have, I believe, will be immediately solved once we get back to worshiping God and we get back to proper values. Now let's talk a little bit about the specifics about how we can protect ourselves in the meantime with firearms. encourage people to go get a concealed weapons license. Usually, in most states, you can get these through your local sheriff's office or department. I just recently attained a concealed weapons license through the Sutter County Sheriff here in California. And I have to say that it was a very good process. I've been around firearms since I was 11 years old, and I learned a lot myself about how to do self-defense and the laws concerning self-defense and where you can and cannot carry a concealed weapon. Now, I would say that if the teachers or staff would have been, somebody at that school would have been carrying a concealed weapon or had access to a weapon that could have saved lives. Now, I carry a revolver, and the one that I choose to carry is a Smith & Wesson, although there are many other different types there. The reason for carrying a revolver is because it's easy to shoot. You don't have to load a round in the chamber, and you just draw the weapon and then shoot. Most self-defense incidences happen within 5 or 6 feet, so you're very close to the person that you're trying to stop, and a revolver will really do the trick. And it's lightweight also. That's the other factor. You can easily conceal it. Here, you can see all you have to do is put on a coat. This is for men. And women can conceal it maybe in a purse or other places. But you can see it's concealed here easily. Now, for that school situation, I think it would be appropriate for all schools and places like the Sikh Gurdwara, where there was a shooting, to have a weapon like this, a rifle. This happens to be a semi-automatic Ruger 223. It's based on the M14 that the military uses. It is capable of shooting as many as 20 or 30 rounds, and this would be good in order to hit the person in the head that was attacking if they were wearing a bulletproof vest, like that deranged young man who was at the shootings there in Connecticut. If you're trained, you could easily shoot somebody in the head with this rifle. I tried out for the Olympics for 5 different times, and I know from experience that you could hit that person in the head if you were trained. This is another handgun that I have. It's another Smith & Wesson, again, another revolver. And you can see here that the hammer is shaved down in order to prevent any cut in the clothing or any place where it would get caught. And they fire 5 shots. Now, for those that may be Sikhs that are listening to this video, I want to remind you that Guru Gobind Singh Ji, who was our 10th Sikh Guru, encouraged us to train with weapons. And he encouraged his sons, he encouraged all of the Khalsa to get trained in weapons and to be able to defend ourselves, our families, and defend those that cannot defend themselves. So it's part of our history. And the history of the Sikhs, you will see that many times the Sikhs have fought battles against oppressive the Mughals who attacked India. And but Guru Gobind Singh was compassionate as well. He wasn't just an aggressive monger. He was a true compassionate person. In fact, there's a story about how he shot arrows at the attacking Mughals, and then those gold-pointed arrows, so that when they were found by the relatives would have this gold in order to help them. So he was a very compassionate person. And so we want to be as compassionate as possible in this type of defense. But we have to face realities of how we can, and how we must defend ourselves, and how we have an obligation to defend ourselves, defend our families, and defend those who cannot or will not defend themselves. So thank you for your time, and I hope you'll investigate these different options for you in getting concealed weapons and to get training and get proper training with firearms. Why KHALSA? Why KHALISTAN?
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I just want to talk briefly about a book I wrote and published. It's Confessions of an American Sikh. I talk about my experiences with Sant Jarnail Singh Ji, Bhindranwale Ji, and also some of my experiences as when I became a Sikh and converted from Christianity to Sikhism. So I'd like to encourage you to read the book. It's on Amazon. It's only 99 cents. But if any of you would like the book for free, just email me and I will send you a copy of the book. And again, I'd also like to encourage everyone to participate in this march on Sunday, June 8th, here in San Francisco, if you live in this area. And give tribute to all those who died during 1984 and those that are continuing to fight for freedom of Sikhs and the religious rights of all spiritual and religious people. Thank you for your time. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.